Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into
Motorists
it.
with experience know that the service life indicated in the technical passport of the battery and the real indicators rarely coincide. One of the reasons is the natural sulfation of the plates, a process that, despite all the tricks of manufacturers, cannot be avoided. But there are ways to combat this phenomenon, thanks to which the life expectancy of the battery can be significantly increased. What the terms sulfation and desulfation mean. Sulfation of car battery plates is a process of accumulation of lead sulfate on the working surfaces of the electrodes, which under normal conditions should under each charge/discharge cycle completely transform into a metallic form, getting rid of the sulfate residue. Under normal conditions, it is necessary to understand such characteristics of processes occurring inside the battery, at which during chemical reactions between the electrolyte and the active zone sulfuric acid interacts with lead with formation of small-sized crystals Pb, SO4, 2. During discharge, the lead sulfate decomposes into lead, and the sulfate residue reunites with hydrogen to form sulfuric acid. In abnormal situations, such crystals may be so large that they are not completely converted to metal and acid, accumulating on the plates as dielectric plaque. As a result, the usable surface area of the core is reduced, leading to a drop in battery capacity. The main causes of plate sulfation are battery operation at low temperatures. When the battery is not fully charged, the loss of capacity accelerates sulfation and vice versa. The process becomes bidirectional. Deep discharge of the battery has the same unfortunate consequences, especially for some types of car batteries. Sulfation is also common when the temperature inside the battery rises. Critically, attempts to desulfate, i.e., dissolve excess lead sulfate, by adding concentrated acid to the electrolyte usually have the opposite effect, accumulation of lead. Sulfate on the plates also occurs when the battery is stored for long periods of time without a charge. Desulfation can be seen as one of the main ways of restoring plate capacity, but it is not always effective. Is it always possible to restore a battery? Strictly speaking, the question is rhetorical. If desulfation of a car battery always had the most positive effect, batteries would last forever. But, as you know, nothing eternal exists in nature. In other words, the more neglected the battery, the less chance of restoring its characteristics to nominal values. To determine the degree of plate damage, let's list the main signs that indicate the presence of battery sulfation. Decreased battery discharge/charge time. A decrease in the time between the beginning of battery charging and the beginning of electrolyte boiling. Rapid heating of the battery case. Appearance of gray or light-colored plaque on the plates, visible on batteries of the serviced type. A drop in battery capacity. Detected by using special equipment that does not require access to the inside of the power supply. If the above symptoms are expressed partially, it makes sense to try to carry out desulfation, which should help to get rid of crystalline lead sulfate deposited on the battery plates. Read also how you can glue the headlight on the car with your own hands. Methods of desulfation of the battery. There are several of them, and none of the known methods cannot be called universal. So the choice of a way to get rid of sulfation is the prerogative of the car owner. Physical cleaning the most effective method, but it is applicable only for disassembled types of batteries, and nowadays they are practically not produced anymore. Eliminating sulfation of lead plates through manual cleaning really allows you to remove all the plaque, but it should be remembered that the full restoration of the active zone is not a question. By removing lead sulfate, you will also get rid of a certain amount of lead, i.e., the plates will become thinner. Using a special product, special compositions designed to dissolve usually insoluble metal salts can be found on sale. Trilin B is an example of such a means that allows you to carry out desulfitation of a car battery with your own hands. This is a powder that is dissolved in water and used as a washing liquid, having previously drained all the electrolyte from the battery. But, again, the effectiveness of the drug will be acceptable only for a relatively new battery, which has a low degree of desulfitation. The use of Trilin B or similar means to restore old batteries, instead of removing the sulfation of the plates, can finally finish the battery, destroying the remaining lead plates. Desulfation with baking soda. A simplified method to desulfate a battery at home is to use a solution of baking soda instead of aggressive store remedies. It is available in every household. The most common recipe for such a solution is 3 teaspoons of baking soda per 100 g of water. It is desirable to use soft water with a minimum amount of dissolved metal salts to prepare the solution. The soda solution is brought to a boil and poured hot into the battery, leaving it for 30 to 45 minutes, after which it is necessary to drain the liquid and rinse the battery several times with clean water. Only after that the electrolyte is poured in and the battery is put on recharge. Note that all methods of battery desulfation using chemical additives require multiple rinsing of the cans with distilled water of deep purification. Charger desulfation. Unlike chemical, electrochemical methods of desulfating the battery with their own hands do not require neither disassembly of the battery nor draining the electrolyte. To get rid of sulfation, it is enough to use an ordinary charger, which is available in the household of most car owners. Here is an example of a common algorithm for correct desulfation of the battery using a conventional charger. Discharge the battery until the electrolyte density decreases to 1.04 to 1.07 G/cm3. Set the current on the charger to 0.8 to 1.1 A voltage. Should be in the range of 13.9 to 14.3 V. Charge the battery with these parameters for about 8 hours. Let the battery rest for 24 hours. Charge the battery again for 8 hours, increasing the current to 2.0 to 2.6 A at the same voltage level. Discharge the battery again, using a powerful external load, for 8 hours. The voltage at the terminals should drop to the minimum 9 volts. Make sure it is not less. It is important. Repeat steps 2 to 5 the required number of times until the density of the electrolyte does not reach the nominal value of 1.27 G/cm3. Read also, for what reason the electrolyte in the battery becomes cloudy and how to fix it. This method can take from a few days to a few weeks, but it is considered the most optimal, with an efficiency of about 80 to 90%. Desulfating the battery with a special charger. Special chargers with a built-in desulfation mode are also available on sale. As a rule, these are automatic chargers that you just need to connect to the battery and select the appropriate function. No additional action is required, but even in this case the procedure will take a long time. Depending on the degree of sulfation of the plates, it can last 3 to 7 days, during which you will not be able to use the battery. Recharge method. Removing lead sulfate plaque using this method is a very risky procedure, so it can only be recommended when other methods have failed. We will need a high-power DC power source, for example, an old-style welding machine with output voltage characteristics of up to 20 V and current of 80 A or more. The battery removed from the car with the unscrewed plugs is connected to the power source in the reverse scheme, minus to plus and vice versa. Plug this source into the mains and charge the battery for about 30 minutes. The electrolyte will boil intensively, but since it is to be replaced, do not pay attention to this. Charging with polarity reversal is indeed able to rid the plates of lead sulfate, but the polarity of the battery will be reversed. Never forget this. The only thing left to do is to drain the remaining electrolyte, pour in a new solution, and charge the battery with a normal charger. Prevention of sulfation. All of the above manipulations can be avoided or postponed to a later date if you adhere to simple recommendations for the prevention of sulfation of plates. Periodically recharge the battery with a charger, especially useful in winter. Regularly check the electrolyte level in the banks, if necessary. Restore it in time with a small reserve. When buying a new battery, choose a product with a capacity slightly higher than recommended by the manufacturer. This will prevent premature sulfation, but there are also disadvantages. Batteries with too high a capacity will not be charged by the generator in full, which is no less harmful. Modern maintenance-free calcium batteries do not tolerate deep discharge, so make sure that you do not operate a discharged battery. Remember that any battery has a limited life. If the battery life is nearing its end, no amount of desulfation can restore the capacity of the battery. In conclusion, desulfating a car battery at home can be a practical and cost-effective way to extend its lifespan and improve performance. By following the steps outlined in this video, you can effectively remove sulfate buildup and restore your battery's functionality. Remember to always prioritize safety and take necessary precautions during the process. With a little patience and care, you can give your battery a new lease on life, saving you time and money in the long run. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this guide helpful.